Hey everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Mainstream Monday here on Horror Film Lovers. I'm your host, Jonathan Moody, and I'm here with
John Ward.
John Ward. My trusty Ward here is here to talk about the newest Scream movie. So we're kind of taking a break from James Wan. Occasionally we'll do that. If there's a movie that's coming out that is had something to do with something we've already reviewed, So for this
Like a special episode.
a special episode. On a
Special
very
episode.
special episode of Mainstream Mondays,
That's right.
John Ward gets very sick,
Oh,
you know, and gets touched by. Never mind. No, let's not do that. Let's not go down that route.
gets touched by an angel.
That's still
Mm.
let's not go down that route. Anyway, we're here to talk about Scream 6, which we both saw in the theaters. John saw a little earlier than I did, but you went to the theaters for it, right?
I saw it first at the drive-in.
Oh, were you
So, which
making
is where
out
I
with somebody the
saw
whole time? Come on, John.
my hand.
You're making out with your hand? John, you might need to work on that. Anyway,
I
so you
know.
went to the drive-in by yourself though?
Yeah. I that's why I saw Scream 5. And then right after I went to go see Creed 3 because that's where I saw Creed 2 was at the drive-in.
Right.
And right next to me was Scream 6. So it was like just kind of made my way over and saw
Did
it
you
there.
paid
But
for it, right?
I mean, yes, I did. I only wanted to pay for it because I saw it at a drive-in.
Right.
If it was like a regular theater, I probably would have just snuck into the theater and not cared. But I want to support drive-ins, and so I did. I paid for Creed 3, and I walked back up to the ticket booth, which is just like a guy in like a toll booth type thing, and said, what time does Scream 6 start? And he found one that started like 5 minutes after my film started, and then I paid for it and went that. So I paid for two movies, but I mean, I didn't have to, but I wanted to. So the nice thing was that I did get to see 30 minutes of Cocaine Bear right before Creed 3 started. So,
Cocaine Bear.
but I eventually saw the whole thing. But the nice thing about the drive-in is that while you're waiting for your movie to start, if you get there early enough, you can just look to the screen next to you, adjust your radio until you can find that movie, and then you can just watch that film until your film, till your movie starts.
I've only been to the drive-in once or whatever, and I always wanted to call it a drive-through, and that's a completely different thing.
Yes, it is.
Um, I drive in and it was in California. It was in LA. I forgot where exactly. It was some weird out of nowhere, like
Probably
out.
City of Industry. That's where the drive-in is.
Uh,
The City of Industry.
no idea. Probably. I mean, I have no idea. But anyway, me and my roommate at the time and her friend who later became her boyfriend at the time, or whatever. Long story, but we all went to see it. We went to see what's that? The Knives Out movie as well. But before then was some
Oh,
other.
Glass Onion.
No, the original Knives Out.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That
Remember
would have
this
been,
was
yeah.
2020, so this
Yeah.
wasn't. But then we also saw there was some movie about people in the fashion industry or something. It was comedy about like women trying to work their way up or something. I don't know. It was okay. It was funny and then moments, but it's sort of unmemorable as far as like whatever said. But I would love to like we don't really have drive-ins around here, so I would love to go back to LA and visit some are still around there, and whatnot. Because, why not?
Well,
I mean,
I have seen Scream 6 now three times.
ooh, three times.
So, and I rewatched Scream 5 and I rewatched Jigsaw. And there's a reason why I watched that right after I watched Scream 5 and then saw Scream 6 again. So that's the and you probably know from my post on Facebook that I said it's not as it doesn't suck as much as part 5, but it still kind of sucks. And then when you went to go see it, I asked you not to tell me your opinion. So what is
Exactly.
do you want to go first? And
Um, so when I went to see it, I went to see it with two of my friends, and the only reason I was like, 'cause normally I go by myself, to the theater, and before, remember I had like Regal like unlimited, so I would go whenever. But the problem was with that was I was spending $20, and then like for a whole month I would not go see anything or something, so like a waste of $20, and it would
kind of
happen
like
a
the
lot.
gym.
Yeah, it would happen a lot, and so I was like. I can't keep doing this. I got to figure out. And now I'm realizing why I was doing the $20 a month. It does cost me like it does cost me more to go see these movies. Just if you go, but for this one actually, it only cost me $10 because I bought a soda and my friend actually ended up buying my ticket for me. So I thought that was really sweet of
Yeah,
her.
there you go.
Um, so it was my friend Ashley and her husband Nate, and it was like their first like date out in forever, you know, and stuff. Like she just wanted to get out of the house, and so and not be with and have her kid with her mom, and stuff. And so we went there and we were having a blast. Nate Nate and I were kind of chit-chatting a little bit, kind of whispering, while watching the movie because there was issues with this movie a little bit. And honestly, all in all, overall, I thought it was better than Scream 5. Yes. It was better than Scream 3, and stuff, but it wasn't all, I was hoping for better, but I think these people are just gonna be just okay now, like not the greatest, not the worst, like I don't know. They not really delivering, and I'm kind of not liking the quote unquote core four. Like I'm
So stupid.
well, I think the biggest problem is they decided that would be really funny if they nicknamed themselves something and then made it a running gag through the whole movie. And then now that meant for that one movie where they're all together, none of them could die. Because if the core four became a core three or whatever else you want to call it, whatever else they end up naming them, it it would be like, why the fuck did they go through all that trouble in the movie to name themselves? You know what I mean? Like, in my opinion, that would have been just a like, they had to all survive, and we'll probably get to the ending, but the ending really, really pissed me off badly. There was a couple things I hated about that ending that just almost ruined the whole movie for me. Um, Thankfully I could look past some of that stuff after a while, but the beginning I was like, fuck. So those are my little overall beliefs. So and you said your overall thoughts, which is, right?
Well, so watching Scream 5 again, I like it more. My biggest problem with it is I just hate the Billy Loomis stuff.
Hmm.
And I hated the Billy Loomis stuff in Scream 6.
But they had
And
a
it's gonna
little bit
be
of it. It was like less
it
in this
still
one.
looks like shit.
I know, but you could barely see it because it's like a
It
reflection
doesn't matter.
instead. I know.
It still looks like crap. It looks like a Marvel movie. It looks like garbage. And I
Maybe
just
that's
wish
what they
that
were
they would
going for, like Marvel
um
stuff. I don't know.
no, they were trying to do good and they did bad, which means it's going to be there in Scream 6. They're still going
Or
to
seven, you
probably
mean?
a Scream 7, which is probably going to, they're probably going to continue with. I just didn't. But overall, Scream 5 I like better.
Do
And
you?
I yeah, I just don't like that stuff. I like the whole idea um of them trying to create a scene where Hollywood would make their movie, from all these murders. And I like that because Scream is about either fame or revenge.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I don't like the twins. I just don't like them. I don't see how they are related to Randy. I just don't. I mean,
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah.
I mean, if you look at Randy, if you even look at Jamie Kennedy, the guy is like either Irish or Scottish.
Right.
So I'm not getting, and I know that they're his nieces or niece and nephew, but it's like, are they mixed? I mean, is it just doesn't make sense to me on, I mean, I guess because Randy's sister, but we never
Mhm.
find out about the husband.
There's a theory going around that it's Joel from part two, the cameraman, you know, because his last name is uh
I've heard that.
whatever, and it's the same last name as they have. So it's just
Martin.
sort of Martin, and they are Meeks Martin. So it it, it it's a theory.
But so nobody has the name Martin except for him, and that's why
Well,
wouldn't they have a picture up of the cameraman then? He died.
he didn't die. Remember, he didn't die at the end of Scream 2. He got the fuck out of there. He said, "I gotta get out of here." And he left. He
Oh,
never.
that's the black guy in Scream 2. I'm
Yeah.
thinking of the white guy in Scream.
No, no,
Okay,
no.
yeah,
That
yeah.
white guy in Scream got gutted, and that was the whole point. Is the black guy's just like, he ain't in the picture no more. I gotta get out of here, and he hightails it out, meets Martha Meeks,
So
and
they're not going to
because he
mention.
saw he saw her die. I mean, it totally makes sense for it. I
No,
think it's
not at
going to be
all.
a reveal. It just
But
hasn't
it's
been one
so
yet.
they don't mention in part 5 or part 6 that the cameraman from part 2 is their father.
Mm-mm.
There's no pictures up on the wall. There's nothing. Gail doesn't mention anything.
Like, how's my cameraman doing? Right?
Yeah, yeah.
How's
Tell
my
him he's a big pussy. How's or something like that. So there's no.
that would have been cool. I don't see. I don't. Did they ever mention their last name in part five? Did it say Meeks Martin that their name?
I don't remember. I
Okay.
don't. But I
Because
have heard
they
that
did it in
theory, and
part six, it is mentioned. So I'm wondering if maybe they weren't thinking of him, and then maybe somebody got the suggestion and they were like, let's go with that. You know what I mean? Which would be sort of sloppy, but I could see that happening, you know? Like,
it's not sloppy. That's bad writing. That's just horrible writing. If that's it, because it's never mentioned at all. There should be a photo or something, a throwaway in part 6 or at least in
I mean,
5.
here's the thing, though. I mean, I almost kind of wish that those twins hadn't been mentioned as being related to Randy. The only reason I think that they were was so that the girl could be the new Randy, right? They don't
Well, yeah.
need her to be related to Randy to be the new Randy. It could just,
No, she
I
could
think,
just be a geek,
yeah. And part
and
four, remember, was the two guys, the two nerdy guys, Rory Culkin and the other dude, who were like the ones explaining everything,
yeah.
right? So like they could have done something like that again. Like, just, okay, we got a new girl, new guy. They just happen to be twins. They're part of the story. That one dude is so Dewey because he keeps getting killed, and then
That
I
annoys
don't
the
know.
fuck out of me because how many times was he stabbed in 6?
Yeah, a lot,
And
like
that,
20
yeah,
times.
and
Like, it was ridiculous.
he ain't no Dewey. And none of these characters from these new Scream films are going to be remembered. None of them. I mean, you're going to go to 5-6 years from now, and nobody except for maybe like Jenna Ortega, because she's like the best thing in these. She's like better than the material that she's given. And I'm really liking her right now because she just bashed all the writers on Wednesday, and
Yes,
now
I'm glad you agree with me on that.
I think
Because
that's awesome because writing all these writers and producers are now all getting fired from these shows, and a lot of them are woke shows, and they're all getting canned because everything is bombing. And I love that she's like, no, Wednesday wouldn't do that. Because the writing is awful. The writing is horrible. And I stopped watching Wednesday right after the first episode. I'm like, this is not Wednesday. This is not the Addams Family.
Mhm.
This isn't even close. Just like Velma, this isn't Scooby Doo.
Someone said that she's getting like higher involved now. Like she's gonna be an executive producer in season two when that comes out and stuff, and she's gonna be more involved in, and you know what? More power to her, you know? Like she's also gonna be in the new Beetlejuice movie and stuff like that, which a lot of people are getting pissed off about because like some people are just sick and tired of seeing Jenna everywhere. And I get it, you know, because after a while, you know, it's kind of like you were seeing Kevin Hart everywhere, and then it was just like, dude, stop making every fucking movie, man. Like let somebody else, you know, get a chance to shine and stuff. And so, but he was the new Chris Tucker. That was the point, you know. He was getting all the roles Chris Tucker would have gotten back in the 90s if that was, you know,
Well,
or whatever.
and she's the new it girl. So
Yeah.
it's and the thing is that she is talented.
Yeah, you
She
said It
acts
Girl and you're talking about Adam's Family. Huh.
uh and she's better than everything that she's doing. And so I love that she said all that. I think it's great.
Yeah.
But of course everybody on the show and in Hollywood and stuff is saying that it was unprofessional, and one critic said that she should, you know, her career should be destroyed because of it. And it's like this is what you get from that side of fans. You know, people sit there
Well,
and say, you know, like conservatives are bad, and I'm not a conservative, but fuck, they're a lot better than the fucking woke left that wants to destroy careers.
people
So
people are mistaking divaism for speaking your mind. You know, there's a big difference between somebody being a diva and somebody and what I had to say to somebody was like because somebody was arguing that the fact that the way she came off in the interview made her sound terrible, right? And I said, well, of
yeah.
course that she's no offense to Jenna, I love her to death. She's still a child. She's young. She's in her like early to mid 20s, you know, and she probably hasn't had a lot of interviews like in her
She's
life.
20. That's yeah,
Okay,
she said
even
she's
20.
20.
That's
They asked
wow,
her, yeah.
early 20, you know.
Yeah.
So she hasn't had a lot of time to like have interviews, and her career has just all of a sudden blown up. You know, like it's not overnight because she's been doing this for like a few years now, but it's like all of a sudden she's like in everything, you know. And I adored her. I adored her in the show You. I adored her in you know, I adored her in Scream 5. Did not adore her in Scream 6. I felt like her character got really bitchy and whiny. And I just didn't like that take on her. But with given that said, like I sort of understood it because she was like they were all trying to get past everything and she was trying to live her life normally and she felt she was
Well, she was ignoring it. You know, she was, you know,
yeah.
well, Sam was trying to make her live it, which
I,
is
I hate to
not her responsibility to begin
I know,
with,
but I
but
hate to say it. I
it's,
liked
you
Sam
know,
a lot better in this one than the last one too. I know I even liked her in the last one, but I liked her more in this one. And I don't know. I think I think the girl who plays Sam is wonderful. I forgot her name. I'm really bad with names. But I think
she's okay. I question her acting a little bit. I don't think she's as good as the rest of the cast.
I
Um,
don't think you liked her in part five before though, in our last
she
interview or
yeah,
last review.
yeah, I don't think she's great. I mean, she's fine, but it's I mean, she's no Sydney Prescott. You know, she's no Nev Campbell.
So I was talking to Dustin Hubbard, shout out to Dustin, and he's a huge Scream fan. And I was asking him, like I was talking to him about, um, you know, we had this long conversation through Facebook audio and stuff, and just back and forth about our feelings on the movie. And he made some really good points, but he was just talking about that the only because I said that what they should have done, and this might sound blasphemous, period, is to just not continue it as a series, like from five, six, whatever. They should have just rebooted it completely, right? Like
Mm-mm.
Scream, you know, right? Problem is, it would it's very confusing then because then they have what is it that Scream TV show, which was complete reboot with like out even being in Woodsboro, and the first season didn't even have the mask or whatever. Um,
Yeah, they're both of them are different. Yeah, they're
right.
completely different.
So because my biggest problem is the fact that we are now facing a thing where we're talking about legacies, and we're still in the like I think the first four movies, these four movies are going to be all the first four movies, and then they're going to try to continue the series with brand new characters and whatnot and stuff. And it's just if they had started it brand new, had a new Sydney, had none of us knew, and just started, I think maybe people wouldn't have liked it or been happy with that, but
No,
like,
no, I think it would have bombed. No, not at all. I disagree. Let them, because look what happened with Halloween Ends.
right.
They did something completely different, and even though it made money, a lot of people hated it. I think that they should just make their trilogy, and then if they want to continue it, then you just
I don't
then
think it's
you
going to be a
reboot it.
trilogy. It's going
But
to be a quadrology. Is that what it's called when it's four?
quadology,
Quadology when it's
yeah.
four of them, because the first four. So if you look at part one or part five was part one, part six is part two with some part four in it, which wasn't the Kirby stuff. Cool to see her back. Didn't buy her as an FBI agent. Um, her hair looked ridiculous.
Yeah, I had a hard time with her as an FBI agent, and yeah, that hair was not that
Her
was
hair
not
was
Kirby hair.
harkening back to fucking Courtney Cox hair. At least Courtney Cox's hair was good in this one. Courtney Cox, you know, Gail, like possibly living, there's a heartbeat thing, was only because they're gonna kill her off, I guess, in either the next one or the one after, seven
Well,
or eight.
it's a way of that they could say for part seven that, oh, she died in the ambulance, or oh no, she survived in the ambulance, just in case she doesn't want to come back. Because
That's
I was talking with Joe Lujan, and he didn't like the movie because Nev was not in it. And I said, yeah, but if they stuck with the same story, where would Nev be? Where would Sidney Prescott be in this movie?
like, what would she have done
Yeah, she would just be
with this
hanging out with Gail
story? Like,
again.
I honestly don't think they had anything unless it was just a really teeny tiny cameo, you know, for her. And I think that was what and here's the thing. People are like, oh, she should have, she was sort of lowballed on her offer and things like that because she made that public, which I think, I don't know. I don't think people should talk about money, period.
Well, I mean, Jenna
But
Ortega talked about Wednesday, so why not?
well,
If you're being, she was lowballed. She should get more money each Scream film she does. It's
Well,
her
here's
series.
it is her series, but if she's only coming back for a cameo, like a teeny tiny part, she shouldn't get paid more than she got
Well,
paid on the
we
last
don't know
movie.
we don't know what she would have come back as, because
Right. I
that's
know, I know, but I'm
that's
saying if that was the case, and I feel like that was the case because you're right, there was no place to put her in this story. They would have had to change this story, and and I'm kind of glad that they kept it with the Richie stuff. It was nice to see
no,
Jack.
no,
Yeah, it
no.
was nice to see Jack
Here's
up there on the screen.
no,
Sorry.
here's my thing is, I would have preferred to see this if part five was all about the whole retcon thing and them trying to murder people to make the new movie, to put the stab films, back on track again. I would have liked to have this be all about fan films. That this was a fan film thing. I'm sorry, there's too much background on Richie. Too much. I did not buy all that stuff for a second.
He
And
didn't
and
buy his
and
family or anything like that.
okay. One, these are the things that really bug the shit out of me. First of all, when Quinn died, where was her father? In the closet? while she was fucking a guy?
I don't think it was her father. I think that was her brother, which is even weirder.
Brother
But
or father, whatever it's actually,
yeah,
wasn't it? It was the ghost face with the old mask, and
I
that's the
know.
dad. So he's waiting in the closet or whatever,
While she's getting
and
her shit
while
on, yeah.
she's having sex, and then the guy goes into the bathroom to take the shower, and I'm wondering, who is all this for? Like, okay, so we know that the shirtless, good-looking guy next door is seeing, Ghostface walking around, but is it who's this act for? Him or
I
the
guess.
audience? It's for us, and it doesn't make any sense that she would continue talking on her phone. It's when the guy goes into the bathroom, she should stop and be like, Dad, okay, Dad, come here, come here. I know you just heard us fucking and shit, but he's now in the bathroom. You got to kill him. Then her being thrown through that door, and granted, she's nuts, but her being thrown through that door was pretty hard.
Mm-hmm.
So she's just gonna have to play dead. Like, that didn't hurt. And then when the dad says, at the very end, oh, well, a grieving cop can get away with a lot. So I just switched the bodies. What body? What body did you switch her with? So the coroner, forensics, all that type of stuff, when they went into the apartment, was she alive but just faking being dead? Or did he quickly switch her body out with somebody else's?
Maybe it was the
None
girl
of that.
that died from the falling from the ladder. Maybe.
I would know. I mean, I don't accept things that we don't see.
Right.
So what? So
Unless we should have gotten some flashbacks of how they did it,
they should have done like a Saw type
But
thing,
here's the
where
other
where we
thing. The other thing is, so we know the guy, the cop and the son are over on the other side of town, right? So does that mean the girl Quinn killed that big fucking 200-pound guy that Gail was boy, and like what was the point of that guy? Like that's what I've been wanting to talk about. What is the point of her boyfriend being 200 pounds and muscular if he doesn't even protect her? He like
well,
he
they do
says,
say
"Oh, the
that.
killer wants to talk to you," and then he like just walks away. Like he's not standing around waiting for some killer to come out. Like
Well, they mentioned, like, oh, look, all of his muscles didn't save you,
right,
so
but no,
maybe
but
she's
I'm saying
dating a
is like he
guy
doesn't
who
do
could
anything.
defend her.
Yeah, he doesn't do
No,
anything.
no, because he's just man who gets killed.
Right, but like,
So
what was the point?
man gets killed.
Well, why not have? I think the point was Courtney Cox says, "I want a big beefy boyfriend in my contract," and that's it. Like because if
Well,
I'm not gonna have Dewey anymore, I want
I
to.
don't know.
That's my thing because otherwise,
That I
there's
don't know.
really no point. And if you were gonna
I
say
think that
another
they
kill, it's just ridiculous. Thinking
no,
about it,
I think that they just wanted her to play off of somebody, and like maybe she's moving from Dewey, and so she's met this guy, and she's dating this big guy who can hopefully defend her, but then of course he gets taken down either by a 20-year-old
I'm
girl
thinking it's the
or a
20-year-old
20-year-old
girl
boy.
because there's no other. Those two people are on the other side of town when that's happening, and they took his car. So unless that guy found out another route, the other
No,
guy found
because
another route and then went all the way around. No, it
no,
goes
the dad is always the mask that looks old, and then the brother and the sister are the two masks that look brand new, but the
right,
guy is taller than the girl.
right.
So it's so you question that. I question the subway scene.
Mm-hmm.
So why would the first of all, how would Quinn know what subway Mindy got on because she missed the subway? So we never see the brother texting, "Hey, she's on this one. She's not on the other one. You got to make sure you get on this one." We never
Mm-hmm.
see that. she gets stabbed and she's about to bleed out, and the brother comes over and saves her and drags her outside, and like medics show up. Why didn't he just let her die?
Because audience. Because
Audience.
audience has to see him doing this.
Yes.
So it's a red herring. It throws off the audience. Literally, that's
So
the only reason.
so there's no reason for him to save her except for the audience. It's the same fucking thing I got with The Sixth Sense.
Right.
Everything that Bruce Willis does is for the audience.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you watch it a second time, why wouldn't Bruce Willis be trying to get onto a bus? And the driver is ignoring him. And he'd be like, hey, why are you ignoring me? Hey, all these people would be ignoring him. All these people. So it's a total cheat. It works in one viewing, and then it's a cheat from there on out. So M. Night tricked us once. And just like these guys tricked us once, because everything they do in this is a cheat. And it made me mad because Mindy brings up Scream 2 and that Randy was killed in the van. And if you're kind of doing this whole thing, Mindy should have been killed in the van. Or she at least should have been killed since she's the new Randy.
Right.
And that annoys me that this core four are all lived at the,
right. All of them are
film.
it honestly, at least one of them should have died. I hate to say it should have been Chad because Chad was stabbed like so many fucking times. And I even was like, oh, I'm sad. He's gone. And then I was like,
Are you
they were
really?
like, well, I mean, I kind of liked him. I liked him as a person, and I like the actor. I think the actor's really good. So I was like, like I thought Mindy was gonna die. So then, of course, then Chad would still be alive and shit, and that would have been okay because then still have that little bit of a love shit that's going on between. I don't know why they did that, but the
he
Chad
sure got over his ex-girlfriend pretty fast. His ex-dead girlfriend.
Yeah, but so him and Jenna Ortega having that thing, and but anyway, it's just getting to the point where.
And that the one thing that I did find funny is when they were in that theater, and the son goes, it was great to kill him, and his name was even Chad, as he describes him as like the frat boy beef guy, and he's listing all these things, and he's like, and his name was actually Chad. That I thought was funny.
That was fun. There were some good lines in the movie. Fuck this franchise made me laugh, like things like that. It's just like poking fun at the fact that they're obviously in this movie, like, or whatever, and this is a franchise now. Everything's kind of open. It was nice to see Samara Weaving back because I really liked her in Ready or Not, which was made by Radio Silence as well. It was nice to see. I mean, the other the two killers in the beginning of the one guy in the beginning of the movie that killed her. I thought that was cool. Like all that opening stuff was okay, like it sort of
was they so I didn't catch a lot of this the first time I saw it because I saw it in the drive-in. Right. And so it was dark. It was a dark screen, and I guess I wasn't hearing it very well. So I missed a lot of it, which is why I wanted to rewatch it again. And so I did hear a lot of the stuff like, oh, I have blue balls, and I wanted to get out there and practice, and I liked his little like stab shrine that he had in there. And the thing but what irritates me with these two guys is, and they do a throwaway line, and fine, I guess, oh, they're rich, that's how they could get the theater.
Right.
I'm sorry, this is freaking New York. Do you know how much that theater would cost?
That was a pretty big theater with a lot of shit.
And I do like how they say, how did they get all this stuff? Isn't it, once again, they do a line, isn't this stuff evidence? And then Courtney Cox, I think it is, who says, well, cops like money too. But it's like, now you're ripping off Jigsaw. This is Jigsaw, where the forensic scientist's assistant, the hot redhead, is obsessed with Jigsaw and she's on like the dark, 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 dark web and all of these like chat rooms and everything. And she's buying all of these plans, some of the things she collected and some of them she built. And she has a studio, like an art studio set
Hmm.
up, and it's all on display. And I'm watching it going, I'm buying this. I'm buying what's going on. I get it. And I believed what was going on. But the thing with the theater, I wasn't buying. I'm like, I'm sorry, you bought this theater or you're renting the theater, whatever it is. You're
Hmm.
putting all of these nice cases in there and these glass
Yeah.
cases.
They were, I was
And
like, wait, what? They have like glass cases, like big, big glass cases,
yeah,
you know?
yeah, ones that
I'm
take up
like,
a whole
Jesus, they
size of a
really,
person. And it's like I know I don't buy that these two college students that are like 20 are buying this. And it's like, okay, so, and I think they mentioned Florida in there with them or something. So it's like, okay, so maybe your parents are rich in Florida and that's how you got your money. But I'm not, no, I don't buy this entire shrine, this entire museum was created. I bought the little one in the apartment because
I
I
mean,
have
it would
that with
be cool
Silent
to
Night
go
Deadly
to a
Night.
Scream museum.
That
You
would,
know?
yes, but that would be, you'd be getting money from the city or taking
Yeah,
donations or things like that. And I'm just not buying that they were able
right.
to get all this stuff. And even with Kirby gives a couple looks in the theater like, oh, she could be the killer.
See, okay, so it would have been cool if they had decided to make like, so Stab's a huge franchise, right? It becomes like, it's a really big deal in that world, in that universe. And maybe they create like a either a museum where people can walk in and fake ghost face people stab you. Like that would be cool, like if and I don't know the people who have actually dealt with stab would not want to go there. There'd have to be a reason that they actually have to go there, like, or whatever, go through that. But it's kind of a cool, that would have been cool. That I would buy because like,
Like a murder museum or something, but
yeah,
for
because that
stab.
was something that like maybe some rich fucker created for fun, thinking it was fun, doesn't think it would start, people actually getting stabbed inside the theater, inside the thing. That I would have been okay with. But, more like an amusement park thingy, or whatever, like, come see the stab stuff and, we have fake people running around, whatever. But yeah, I don't buy that somebody made basically a whole museum of every single artifact that was in all of the stab stuff. I mean, they were looking around, showing everything off, and I'm like, so somebody literally, and like they kept all the blood, drenched in, like in the night, you know what I mean? Like it just felt like this was just not real,
I loved it in the trailer. I went, oh, that is awesome. Because I'm thinking like Phantom of the Opera or the Abominable Dr. Phibes and that type of thing. And I didn't get it. I just
Mm.
I that's not what I got. And I would what see because this tells you that it wasn't that great of a movie, even though I did like it a little bit more the third time I saw it. I just didn't like the Billy stuff again. But it tells you that it's not that great if you and I are coming up with other ideas. And
I still like it more than five. I don't know.
I
I
don't know. I
enjoyed
think I
it.
like
There's
five
there's
better. So see
I think
what I
there
would
was
have.
parts of it that I really liked that were not the debatable stuff or whatever, like the stuff I'm saying, oh my God, why do they do that? Why do they do that? But more like I did like some of the relationship stuff. I didn't like the cute guy or whatever. Like I think his name's Danny.
Oh,
I
I'm so glad he wasn't the killer. Like he's
oh
actually was
God.
like a good guy. I'm
Well,
so glad.
I was, yeah, and he wasn't really he wasn't a good guy, he wasn't a bad guy. He was just sort of a guy, which kind of made me sort of like a little annoyed because like once again, he's just a red herring.
He's a red herring. Yeah.
He's just like, let's throw off the audience. Let's make them think like we're doing Richie again and whatnot. Funny thing is, my friend Ashley, who went with me, had not seen part five, and I was like, why didn't you see part five before you saw part six? Now you're gonna, and she was like, oh, I try to like zone a lot of stuff out sometimes, like forget things, that, right? Because that way she can watch part five and hopefully not, you know. But I'm like, if you're paying attention, like a pretty big deal, which is Richie, the
Well,
Richie.
and the thing with now, I don't mind the family taking revenge because of Richie, because that was part two.
That was part two, was
Okay, so
Billy's mother.
yeah, and then part three was also revenge. And so I don't mind the whole that whole revenge thing, that's
Hmm.
fine. But since we're kind of telling what we would have preferred, I would have preferred, like I had said, for this to be more about fan films. And
Right.
even though I know Richie was making a fan film and that's what they were trying to complete, even though they weren't filming any of the killings to complete it, but okay. But if there was something that said the killers in part five didn't get their wish, that their murder spree would be filmed as stab 12, whatever they're up to, and that Hollywood just ignored it. And that now people are looking at fan films are better than because I did watch Scream Legacy,
Hmm.
which I thought was not bad. And I thought, okay, for a fan film, this isn't bad. It had some very Scream moments, but then
Hmm.
it also had some very like micro budget moments. But overall, and it takes place after part three. There's no five and six. It's takes place right after part three.
Hmm.
And I thought, well, that would be more interesting. What if fan films are better than the recent stab movies?
Right.
And that's the whole thing, is that and I just didn't like, oh, Richie was obsessed, and this is all for Richie, and he was making all of this, and he was making this film that we have to complete. And but when did he become like the messiah of Scream? I mean, or Stab? Wouldn't Billy be that? I mean,
Or
Billy's,
even if you want to go back to the original guy that set it up, Roman, he was the one who set the whole thing in motion, wasn't he? Like he was the original
yeah,
orchestrator of it all,
yeah.
supposedly.
Which then we'll find out later that Stu was even before him. That Stu was orchestrating Roman, who
They
was
did bring up
orchestrating.
like the idea that Stu is not, and I was talking to Dustin about that, and he thinks he has a theory that that was just because there's all that talk that Stu's still alive,
Yeah,
that
there's
they
the rumor
wanted to
that
just kind
from
of put that
jail.
in there so that
Yeah,
for the fans, but like that's now going to just create like controversy of like, oh, well, is he really is possibly still alive, or he was in jail, or he was in, and like, really, no, he wasn't in jail because if you were in jail, everybody would know. You can look
that's the
that shit
thing.
up.
Well, but that's a lot of the stuff with this is people would have known things which we didn't know about until this movie, but news would have said that it was
Yeah, they would have
available.
been
I
like,
mean,
oh, Richie was left behind by his father and
yeah,
brother and sister, and she would have been, and saw their pictures somewhere or something, and then he would have, the girl, because like apparently what's her name, the girl started all those rumors, the
oh yeah, the Quinn, yeah,
Quinn started all those rumors that got her into all that trouble or whatever and everything, and got all the controversy going about her being possibly like a serial killer kind of thing. But like, I mean, and then the girl that like throws though like whatever cola at her or whatever at that one point, like other
oh
than the
yeah,
fact that it's supposed to be like now all of a sudden she's like this bitch online and everything, I'm like, the fuck was like, why are people like that mad at her, in New York? Why do people in New York give a fuck about this chick that was in California that, like, I don't get it. Like, nobody really would care, you know? And nobody,
I mean, I don't know. I mean, OJ killed two people in California, and then he was, everybody thought he still killed them in Florida, and then they still thought he killed them in Las Vegas, and he went back to jail for because he held people hostage. So I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just young people or maybe just women that just don't, that they just throw shit at her because she got away with murder.
Yeah.
Like she's more famous than they are, maybe
I don't
something
know.
like that. But that could be used, of course, by the dad, the detective, later on saying, "Oh, well, how do you explain this then?" And
Well,
then,
that, no, that was the whole point of that. Like literally, the whole point of her getting attacked by in real life in the movie was that the guy could say, can you explain this? Or later on, she's on the news, like, she attacked this. You know what I mean? And I'm just like nobody. No, and I almost didn't buy it when I saw it because I was like, who is this chick and why does she care about this girl? Like,
it's because these guys aren't as good of writers as we think they are, or that they want to believe, just like the Halloween trilogy and all that type of stuff. It's like the picture that you have. I think that's the best scene in the movie.
yes,
And
we haven't even talked about and that's been on
and
my background for.
I love Ghostface with a shotgun. I think
I
that
did
is
too. A lot
awesome.
of people are
And
complaining like Ghostface doesn't use guns, and I'm like, he's not. He's might
yes,
stab people, but like,
why
why?
can't he?
Well, actually, Billy Loomis used a gun. Remember? And the gun
Yeah.
that then, and uh, she always
Well,
uses guns at the end of the movie,
almost
Sydney, because she shoots.
everybody has used guns.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but she uses a gun at the end of the movie to shoot them in the head. They even mention that in the movie
Yeah.
that you have to shoot them in the head. And then
Yeah.
fucking oh. All right, we'll get back to this in a second. But I am so angry at the fact that they kill this guy. They kill the boy so badly. Like he gets stabbed, and I think he even gets shot in the head. She says that line, you
Wait,
have to
who,
shoot him
the
in the
boy?
head. The little boy, the brother.
He ain't no little boy. That's a 20-year-old man.
He's a little boy. He's
He's
tiny.
not a he's
He's
in
tiny.
college.
But he's
He's a
tiny. He's a tiny.
he's he's taller than his sister,
I know,
and
but
and, he,
she's
and he's in
tiny.
college.
No,
He's not a
anyway,
boy. He's a man. He's over 18. He's a man.
whatever. He's a boy. To me. But anyway, he gets shot in the head or whatever too, and then he comes back, and I'm like, no, 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 because there's at one point my buddy Nate was like looking at me going, "Isn't
Wait, are
Kurt,
you sure that he comes back after being shot in the head? I know that he's shot,
I
and
thought it was
then he
shot in the
comes
head."
back, and then isn't it
I only watched it once, so you would know more than I would.
I'm pretty sure he gets shot like a bunch of times,
Right,
and then he comes back, and then it's
Kirby that
damn it,
shoots him.
Kirby who shoots him in the head.
Okay, well, I thought
And
he
then
got
she's
shot in
like,
the
"Yeah,
head
I
by
learned that from other
her.
movies."
I thought she made a line about the fact that you need to shoot him in the head, but that might have been with the other
Yeah,
guy.
she says, "I learned that from another movie." She learned that from the stab films,
Okay.
that you have to shoot him in the head.
But was Kirby say that or the other girl say that?
I
I
think it's
thought,
Kirby. I'm pretty
okay.
sure it's Kirby.
All right. Anyway, okay. But he did get shot a lot and he got, or stabbed or whatever it was. He got attacked and he should have died. Like there was but then again, so should Chad or so should all these people. Like there's no, like, unless you literally just cut them into pieces, which this was one of the goriest Scream movies in a while, or whatever. They really did go out all out on the gore, which is sort of nice considering there's no like nudity or there's sex, but we don't see it, you know. We hear it, you know. So there's mention of sex, you know.
Right. Well, yeah, a couple times. So I think Gail should have died, and either Mindy or Chad should have died. One of the two. And if you're following what Mindy is saying, then it should have been her.
It
She
should have
should have
been her.
died.
She should have died. Chad should have lived.
And then you have in the
And then
next one,
he
then
could
you
be
could have
die in
Chad.
the next one because if they're gonna keep this going where anybody can die, then the core four has gotta go, and they've got to introduce a new character who will live, who will take over for like Chad or Mindy or whatever. Maybe there's, you know what? if they introduce a character that's just like Mindy as far as like or guy or girl who is, very Randy like, you know, Mindy's gonna die then. Because, that guy's gonna take over as the new
Yeah,
Randy.
yeah, and I didn't mind her, the actress. I didn't mind her so much in five, but I thought that she was just annoying in this one. I did not like her. I didn't like her character in this one. I don't like how I I don't like the whole Randy thing, but I liked her better in five than in six.
In five, it felt realistic in a way that she would like that they'd all be sitting around talking about this. This one felt forced, you
Yeah, the
know.
whole requel, sequel, and all of that type of stuff
Yeah, it
was
felt
just
like normal. Like, and Dewey was there in the fifth one, and he was, like they were making jokes the whole time. This one didn't even feel funny at all. It felt like she was just throwing out accusations. All you're possibly the killer. You're possibly the killer. All of us could possibly be the killer. I'm like, then what's the point of this? Like, is that like, I mean, if all of you guys can be the killer, then none of this matters, Like, right? Like
well,
talking
yeah,
about it.
and I hope Mindy doesn't find out that they thought that she was one of the killers. So, because at the end, the son reveals himself, and then that's, I think it's Samantha or Sam who says, it can only be Mindy. And then it ends up being Quinn because we all think that she's dead.
Yep.
But it's, of course, because we saw her thrown through a friggin' door. But I mean, I liked how she was all crazy. So I could
Mm.
kind of
Well,
buy
no,
her
she
doing
reminded me
stuff.
of like way too much of the crazy chick at the in five, like the one that was like obsessed with fan films or whatever and
The
stuff. Like she reminded me a lot of her at the end. Like,
Well, the only
you know,
reason why I slightly even believe that she could take Dewey down is because she was a Manson girl in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and she's the one who was set on fire. So
yeah.
so obviously two directors think she's crazy enough to take on like Brad Pitt, and that she'd have like a good fight with Leonardo DiCaprio or something, that
Oh God, I forgot
she
that
could
she was
do
that
it.
one. That was the one of
Yeah,
the
she's
best
been set
scenes in
on
the
fire
movie too.
twice.
That's she's one of my favorite. Yeah, well, maybe I wonder if that's like. I mean, if I don't know, maybe that'll be her thing.
Yeah, she's
Almost
the
every
girl who
movie.
gets set on fire.
Yeah,
So her, I could believe. I could also believe, of course, Richie, because he's, a tall guy and all that type of stuff. But I did not believe the son. I could believe Quinn because she's kind of crazy like her from five. But I don't believe the son. I
you
don't
can't
think the
believe the
son,
boy. Okay,
the boy, he's more of a boy in me thinking that he could kill somebody.
yeah,
I don't think that he's a man to kill people.
yeah. He was just such an annoying character though. I had econ. I couldn't make it here.
You
Like,
know I have econ.
you know I have econ. Why are you guys being so mean to me? Right? I'm like, dude.
But like the scene that's in the mini mart, it's almost like, to me, like they said, okay, we're going to base this in New York, Canada, and
Hmm.
we're going, so what do we have in New York? Okay, we're going to have these like busy mini marts. Okay, let's do something in there. We got subways. Okay, let's do something in there. And it's almost like they had these scenes, mini mart, subway, um you just these
Campus,
frat party,
yeah.
yeah. And then they said, now let's write a story around these locations,
Hmm.
because it just didn't, it it seemed more like they put more focus on those scenes than they did anything else, which is why the subway scene is good until you realize it's a fake, and the mini mart scene is good. I mean, people, if you, I did hear people complain about Ghostface having the shotgun. Well, they complained about Terrifier, about Art the Clown at the end of the first film, where he used a pistol to,
I mean,
to kill
they
somebody.
don't
And it's like,
like, yeah, they don't like
why
the
is
the
that
people
wrong?
having a gun, but I think it's scarier to have a gun because, guns, I mean, guns are out there and gun, people are getting shot all the time, like that's more terrifying to me than somebody with a knife because like, most of the time people have knives. You can outrun somebody with a knife. They can throw it at you, but they'll probably miss, You know what I mean? Like, you
Right.
know, unless you're really that good at throwing knives,
Yeah, unless you're
you're
like Jason
probably just
Voorhees or
going to
something.
like miss when you throw it. So, like, if somebody has a knife, you can kick them in the balls, run or vagina, run, and then they would have to figure out how to run, catch up to you, and stab you, or whatever. So you have to think of ways to like go, okay, well, they're gonna go around this way, and then all of a sudden somebody's gonna come up with a knife and stab. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the great scene in Raiders of the Lost Ark, when he's with the guy by the plane and he's doing all that with the sword, and Indiana Jones just takes out the gun and shoots him.
Yeah, it's comedy
You know,
right there.
it's
Like
it's a great
because
scene. Yeah. So
um
that's I don't mind these people using guns because it's just another weapon, but it's also the way that it's shown is mean. I mean, in Terrifier, he shoots this girl in the head like 3 times, and it's really gory. And then of course, Ghostface shoots the guy at the mini mart. It's off screen, but we know he blew his head off.
right.
So
And he's, I mean, see, and that's the other thing I don't buy though. Like, so I thought the whole point of this was they're counting down to like the big reveal, right? And so if somebody, one of the Ghostface people, I'm not sure which one that is, if that's the girl, the sister, the brother, or the father. I'm guessing it's either the brother or the
yeah, remember
sister.
the dad is always the one that's in your picture. He's got the old looking
Is that
face. He
is
goes,
that the old looking one? So is that the
yeah, that's
father?
the dad. Yeah, that's
Okay.
the father.
So
Yeah.
the father, a police officer in fucking New York, is dressed up in Ghostface costume, the shotgun, shooting these two kids, right? If he killed them, then is he done? Is he like, you know, was he like, damn, I didn't get to show my big reveal? Like
Right.
that's the only thing I don't
Well,
like about these things of like trying to kill them is all of a sudden he actually did kill them, then the story would be over, right?
yeah,
For them.
remember, I mentioned this in one of our early videos for Scream, where it's just like, why don't they just kill Sydney? Why go through this whole thing of killing all the friends and being Ghostface and all that type of stuff? Why not just kill her? She's walking to her car at night. Just kill her.
Yeah.
Run her over, and it'd be a hit and run. Just kill her. Why do we have to go through this every single, as much as I love the Scream films, every single movie? Why do we have to go through this?
You
Just
know,
like you said, to get the big reveal at the end.
it would be so fucked up. Be so fucked up if the next or last or whatever, the last one was Sydney. She's just walking to her car, somebody pulls out a gun, "Hey Sydney." Bam, and just kills her. Ghostface just kills her, and then it opens, goes scream, whatever, right? And I would be like, everybody would be so pissed because like
Oh,
everybody's like, she's a survivor,
better. I have a better one because this is what happened with Vin Diesel with in Triple X,
right?
because that was during when he was like being a dick with
Hmm.
everybody. So there's a short film where he gets it. It's I don't know 6 minutes long or something like that, and they got his stunt double, and he's bald and he's got like the furry coat on, and we only see him from the back. And he leaves the building, jumps in the car, and the car explodes, and that kills that character. So
Hmm.
now Ice Cube comes in. So you do the same thing.
Yeah.
You just have an actress from the back who looks like Sydney, and she walks into the car. She sits there and she looks over, and there's Ghostface, and he's got the and then
There you
so you
go.
don't even have to have Nev
You
Campbell.
don't
You
have to
just
have
have
Nev Campbell, and she can't be like, you can't do that because they can do what the fuck they want. It's their character, like that probably would have gotten a lot of like flack though. That would have gotten them so much anger toward the because here's the thing. When you're making a series like Scream, you had Wes Craven and Kevin Williamson originally, right? The first two, the third one had Erin Kruger, and then the fourth one brought back Kevin Williamson, and then that was that, right? Wes Craven unfortunately passed away in 2018, and they couldn't make any more Scream movies after that. Well, they went in the direction of doing the MTV TV show anyway, and not doing another movie. And then um, and then comes these new guys, Radio Silence, and they're hot off Ready or Not, and they're really trying and other stuff. I think they did another movie before then that was pretty big, and then they get the chance to direct Scream, and they're so excited, right? They're like, "Oh my God, this is going to be amazing!" And then if they kill off the character like in the second or third outing of their series of their of their versions, like that, with them just exploding her in the car like that, black from every fan out there because they're going to be like, how dare you kill off Sydney in such a disrespectful way and blah blah blah, and I mean they can do whatever they fuck they want. They own that character. That would be Paramount's decision, just like it
Right.
was their decision not to pay her what she was worth or whatever, you know. So
Well, so these guys, I'm only looking at one of the directors, but their first film was Chad, Matt, and Rob. That's 2011. They did a segment in VHS.
I heard about
Um,
that, yeah.
called 103198. Devil's Due, Southbound, Ready or
Southbound
Not.
I've heard of, yeah. Which one? Ready or yeah, Southbound and Ready or Not.
Yeah, Ready or Not. Then they did. They were one of the producers of VHS 94, and then they did Scream and then Scream 6.
I never got into the VHS movies. I saw one of them, I think the first one, and I like the directors, like all the directors that get attached to that, or like some of the underground, like the more original indie guys that kind of blew up. Like I think Adam, not Adam Green, but the other one, Adam Wingard, and
Oh
them
yeah.
were a part of it and stuff. But uh, it it's sort of me. I don't like found footage. I don't like that kind of stuff. And it was very like that's like it was supposed to be what shot on VHS or whatever. I just
Right.
not my thing, but I respect it. You know.
Well, both of them together did Devil's Due, Ready or Not, Scream, and Scream
Oh,
6.
that's right, Devil's Due. I haven't I own that. I have not seen it.
But then the one guy, the Tyler, he did, and these are all directed by him except for the last one. The Teleporter, Mountain Devil Prank fails horribly. The
That sounds
Birthday
like a
Party.
short or something. Are these shorts?
No, it's through a thing called a Chad, Matt, and Rob interactive adventure. I don't know what these are, and I don't really care to look them up.
They sound
Um,
like web series.
yeah, the birthday party, um, the treasure hunt. These are all part of that Chad, Matt, and Rob. Then the segment for VHS, the 103198, and then Southbound, which he was the editor and DP on, and yeah, so it's oh yeah, this is oh is that oh Southbound is another anthology. Looks like.
Okay, so Matt and Tyler both did Devil's Due as well, directed.
Yeah, yeah. Together they did The Devil's Due, Ready or Not, Scream, and Scream 6.
Yeah.
Devil's Due, I
Oh,
thought was a found footage film.
I haven't seen it, but I own it. I think I got it for like, oh yeah, I think it was part of that horror pack, you know?
Yeah, use of found footage.
Yeah. So I think it was part of that horror pack. Back in the day, well, I used to get the horror pack stuff, they'd have like three Blu-rays or something, three or four Blu-rays they would send. And I think that was one of them before, because I don't think I bought that on my own, you know. Um, but Southbound, I've heard good things. That's on Tubi. Devil's Due is on HBO Max, interestingly enough. And Scream slash Scream 5, whatever you want to call it, is on Paramount Plus. So you guys can see Scream 5 on Paramount. All the Scream movies are on Paramount Plus because they're owned by Paramount now.
There
Because
you
I
go.
guess Paramount bought that's sort of funny to me because Paramount had the Friday the 13th movies and then gave it up to like was it what's his name's company?
To
Um
New Line.
yeah, New Line. Yes, New Line. That's right. And then I was thinking of the Freddy stuff, I think, which is also New Line.
New Line,
But
yeah. Well, that's how they could do Freddy vs. Jason. It's because
yeah,
they owned both franchises.
right. But originally it was Paramount, that bought it and stuff. So that's but yeah, Paramount owned Friday 13th in the beginning, and then I guess they had no interest in it or something. I don't know why or maybe New Line made them an offer they couldn't refuse. No idea.
Well, I think that the Friday the 13th stuff at the time was dead. So they're just like, well, look, we got all these, we'll pick them up. Because I think Paramount, I think when it's Dimension and Miramax, I think different companies bought different films from them or series.
Speaking of
So
which, by the way, speaking of Friday the 13th, part 8 had a scene where two people are running away from a masked killer, aka Jason, and they go into a
yes.
convenience store and they say, "Help, help," or, you know, we're being attacked by a man in a mask, in a mask or whatever, right? And the greatest line in the movie happens to be, "Well, welcome to New York," right? They don't have that fucking line in this movie. Like, why didn't they do that? They had the best opportunity ever for the convenience store guy to say, "Well, welcome to New York," you know. But oh
Well,
well,
then if you notice, the Friday the 13th film that is playing is Jason Takes Manhattan.
yeah, it's
So I thought
nice.
that was a little funny, but then I'm just like, okay, well, that was shot in Canada also.
Yeah,
So I'm like, is the joke that it's just Jason's in Manhattan and Ghostface is in New York, and is it that both films are shot in Canada but they're supposed to be New York?
I think it's the idea that I think the joke is supposed to be that that it's a fish out of water story in a way of like they're not in their town, which I guess happens occasionally because Scream
Oh,
3 was Hollywood, right? You know.
that's another thing that annoys me with this. So, and once again, I didn't catch a lot of this when I saw it in the drive-in. So second viewing, um, I I'm still not 100% buying all of them in New York.
Right.
I get that there is the line that the twins moved out first, and then the sisters followed. And I guess because and I know they made up the name Core 4 later, but I'm guessing because they went through part 5 together, they're now staying together, because that's a pretty big
It's a pretty big
move.
move. But I think they were also trying to get as far away from Woodsboro as they possibly could, right? Because of what happened. So they decided to go all the way across country to escape,
So the next
the
one will be in like France. About
it'll be
Ghostface on
Canada,
the
but it'll actually say
Eiffel Tower.
Canada. They'll have Mounties that come in and like, are you in trouble, eh? You know?
Eh?
What is this
I
all
don't know.
about?
I think I like Ghostface on the Eiffel Tower.
Ghostface in France, Ghostface takes France. And I'd watch that.
Yeah.
You know, what is it though? American Werewolf in Paris, so
No, we never discussed that movie.
Scream in Paris.
Hey, then the bad CGI would match.
Maybe, yeah. There you go. Hey, that does have a thing of where in American Werewolf in London, the person's hallucinating and seeing or whatever. It's a ghost, but he thinks he's hallucinating the whole time. So I don't know.
Well, yeah, but in American Werewolf in Paris, the werewolf is the hideous CGI.
Yeah.
And CGI is absolutely horrible. So they could just do the Billy Loomis stuff over there and just have it look bad. Granted, it did look better in part 6 because they're looking through that glass, so it's a little
Hmm.
distorted, so it does look a little bit better. but it just still looks like shit. It just looks bad, and you know, I'll buy this because I'm an idiot and I'm a completist, and I'll probably watch it again. But you know, I just
You're like, I'll watch it again. It's a
ugh,
terrible thing to
it's a
like
task.
it's honestly not that. I mean, it's not. I don't know. I only watched it once. I only saw it in the theater once, but
I
I'll definitely buy it. I haven't bought the fifth one yet. I want to get them all on 4K. That's going to be my next thing. And I know Scream is on 4K like for like $22 at Best Buy, and probably other places like Amazon. But I'm so excited to like get that eventually because I love that movie. That's one of my favorites. By
oh,
the
the
way,
original Scream.
the original Scream. Not Scream 5, but I bet that is still on. I bet they put that on 4K because everything new is going on 4K now anyway. Like they might
I
as
mean,
well.
visually, 5 and 6 looked good. I mean,
Yeah.
the sound was good, the editing was good. I mean, it's all good.
I don't know if
I
it
just
would
don't
need
like the
like
story.
Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos and all these things that, I don't think it'll enhance the movie to the point where I'm like, oh my God, what am I watching? You know, like this is terrifying. Like no, I mean, and the funny thing about horror films now is I've watched so many of them in my life that I'm sort of desensitized from them that nothing is scary. I just want to be entertained now, you know?
Yeah,
Right?
I just want things to make sense because I mean, when I watched all the other Scream films is on repeat viewings, is you want, especially when there's two killers, is you want to be like, that's that person and that's that person, and they went around here and that person went around here, and all that. You kind of want to figure the whole thing out. And
Mm-hmm.
now it's just getting to the point where they're just, it doesn't really matter
Right.
because they're just faking the audience.
Yep.
And to me that just annoys me. And I think people like it because they're told to like it. It's Scream, so they have to like it. And people are like, oh no, I thought it was the best in the series. Well, you know what? You're gonna think it's the best of the series until part 7 comes out. And
Right.
then you go, oh no, part 7 was the best of the series. So it's like you're an idiot. Because everyone they make you think is going to be better than the last one. Everyone. And it's not true.
No. It's no, the best one in the series is the first one. Um,
I'm still, if you remember, I was still, is part 4 my favorite, kind of going between 1 and 4.
well, let's do the rankings soon. We're kind of like, doing this pretty
All right, well,
long and
let's look at money quickly. So Scream 5, the budget on that was 24 million, and the box office was 137.7 million.
okay, wow.
So 24 million and 137.7 million. Scream 6, its budget is higher. It's 33 to 35 million, but it made less than 5. It made
Well, it's just started.
150, 150, well, it did, yeah. But right now it's less than Scream. So it's 115.9 million. So we'll see where it's at
And we'll
when it.
probably do an update, kind of let people, let people know if it did well enough, maybe when something else comes around. Um, so yeah, let's do our ranking real quick, that like quick ranking. Um,
um do you want to go first or?
yeah, I mean, all I'm gonna say, because I'm not gonna tell why, we're not gonna go into why. We kind of did that in our other ranking video. I'm just gonna say, and I'm gonna mention all of them right now. Scream 3 is still my least favorite. Scream 5 is up there next. I like Scream 6 a little bit more than Scream 5. Then 4, 2, 1 was the way I had it the last time. So 6 is just below 4.
I don't exactly remember how I had it before, but I'm probably going to go ahead now and say Scream 4 would be number 1, then Scream 2,
Whoa,
Then
Scream 2 than over Scream 1?
I saw Scream 2 more than Scream 1. Yeah.
Okay.
So then Scream 1, then Scream 3, then 5, then 6.
I think the way you had it before, because I just checked it to see what my last was, and your last ranking you had 1, 4, 2, 3, 5. That was what you had. So, but now it's changed. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Updated.
I think just because something is the first one, may or may not be the best, just because it
Uh,
started it. Because the original Friday the 13th isn't the
oh,
best one.
I know. And the first,
So,
well, actually, the first Nightmare on Elm Street is still my favorite.
see, my favorite would be part 4.
Yeah, see, but I mean, part 4 is up there, but it's not. I think it's like 1, 3, no, 1, yeah, 7 or 3. I forgot which one I put first. 3, and then 4, 5, 6. I think that's it. Yeah, because I think Freddy's Dead is my least favorite.
Yeah, I was kind of bummed. I don't know if you watched it, but Red Letter Media, Mike and Jay went through. There's 2 episodes where they went through all the films, but they would not do Freddy versus Jason, which I didn't get. I'm like, it's still Freddy versus Jason, so you should
Hmm.
have counted that one.
Yeah,
And they would not do the remake. Jay makes a joke, and then it goes to the
I
credits. He's
forgot
like,
about. I keep forgetting about the remake. Remake would be last, like
"Oh
period.
yeah,
I
yeah,
just don't even. I don't. It's almost doesn't even feel canon to the things. I don't know. Whatever.
no, no."
But yeah. So I wouldn't even like yeah. But if we ever did Nightmare on Elm Street at some point for Mainstream Monday, uh it'll still be discussed. Part that and part
Oh, I
Freddy
think it
vs.
should be
Jason.
because it is part of it. It's
Yeah.
not
It's
canon
just
because it's a remake, but
yeah.
it's still part of it. So I think it has to be. Just like if we did the Friday the 13th, you have to do the remake of Friday the 13th.
Mm-hmm.
So
Alrighty. The heck is going on
so
here?
there we go.
Sorry, can you see me?
What you got?
Okay.
Ants in your pants? Yeah, I can see you
No,
fine.
something just freaking jumped at me on this thing. Anyway, thank you guys so much. This has been good. There's Insidious comes out on 4K on June 20th. So check that out. Buy that. I'm gonna buy it because I want to see it in 4K and I want to see it on my big ass TV and I want to hear it and I want to have all the good experience with it. So,
And I
um,
think yeah, Megan's tomorrow.
Megan's tomorrow, so which it won't be tomorrow when this comes out. So,
Oh, so Megan will already be out. So
we'll already be out. You can buy Megan today
yeah,
if you want, or you
but it
can
won't
see it
be on
on
sale
Paramount
anymore.
Plus or wait, Peacock. One of those channels. One of those streaming channels. Go see Megan.
Yeah.
You'll love it. Um, we're gonna review it at some point, I think. Um, we haven't done that yet. So, but
Oh,
anyway,
one thing that you said that you did want to bring up was Shazam too.
Shazam! Oh yeah, the director of Shazam gotten some.
Did Lights Out. Yeah.
Yeah, he did Lights Out, and he said some very said stuff about his like it was in a Reddit thing, and then he deleted it, of course. But
Well,
you can't delete anything on the internet.
it doesn't count, and it's because it's a throwaway movie, so
Yeah,
that's probably why some people didn't see it. Two, we even though the first Shazam did really well, maybe people just didn't want the second one, and for the same reason that Ant-Man 3 bombed, which by the way, Morbius opened better than Ant-Man 3. And
yikes.
yeah, and now it's superhero fatigue. So when the director of Shazam 2 said like, yeah, I kind of knew this was going to happen, I read that he was just monitoring everything. He was just
Yeah,
watching all these superhero movies bomb, and he was like, yeah, at least he's honest about it.
yeah. I
So
mean, he took the paycheck. That's what he was saying. I got paid. Like he doesn't really, kind of care about like like I get it. I get it. You put your heart and soul into this project and then you sort of see all this stuff coming and monitoring, and you go, well, at least I got paid for it, and I can go work on something else.
Yeah, I read a couple reviews that actually liked it better than the first one.
Maybe he'll work
But
with James Wan again, and then do
yeah,
some more
so
Conjuring stuff or something. I
like
don't know.
I don't think some of these people it's their like I don't think it's like Dwayne Johnson's fault that Black Adam bombed because I actually thought it was okay. But I I I just think this is people are tired. They're just tired. And especially when the films don't matter.
Right.
I think The Flash will do well because it's, Michael Keaton and stuff like that. But I think anything that's not going to count
No.
with with this new stuff coming up from James Gunn, why bother seeing it? And I even heard that there's like a like at the end there's like a after the credits scene that just doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Because they weren't going to go with that stuff, so they kind of threw it away.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I get it, and I think that's why James Gunn was like really pushing The Flash because they spent so much money on that movie and stuff, and they want to recoup that money, that cost or whatever for it. And he's like trying to tell people, go see it. It's going to matter because this is going to be the end of this universe and stuff like this. And, this is going to be the big movie that, whatever. So, um, I'm not going to, I mean, I don't know. I might see it there. I don't know. I have no idea. I can't
I'll watch it
say.
on HBO Plus.
Yeah, I mean, can't HBO Plus. I mean Max, but it's
Oh,
sort of
Max, whatever
funny.
it is.
It's funny because it's sort of like Disney Plus and
Well, you
HBO
know what people
together.
are calling Disney Plus now?
What?
D plus, because that's all they make are D plus movies.
You think you even call it D plus at times, which is probably not something you should be promoting, but all right. Well,
Yeah,
whatever.
I mean, maybe D plus, at one time was good, but now D plus is bad. So,
Nah.
and it's
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, because now it is
because
actually a D
because
plus.
there's I'll say this and then we'll take off. Is it's funny if you look at how like the writer and everything for Ant-Man 3 is acting compared to the director of Shazam 2.
Mm,
Wow, it is like night and day. It's like Shazam 2 director is like, what you gonna do? While the writer of Ant-Man 3 is like, you all suck. You suck. This is a good movie. You suck. But yet all these writers that Marvel's hiring are from like the Jimmy Kimmel show,
yeah.
or the Mindy Project. And it's like, who the fuck are you guys?
Yeah.
you
Well,
know,
I mean, for TV, that's understandable for maybe for like sitcoms or something, but not for like a good movie. Good feature. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. I saw Scream 6 in the theater. I'll see more horror stuff. Horror's doing really well right now. Superhero movies are sort of I definitely want to see what is it? Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. So, you know, support my boy James, who
yeah, they say that's probably it. That's going to be like the last good one for a while.
yeah, because then the next is the Marvels, which I don't
Which
know.
keeps
There's
getting postponed and postponed and postponed, and now
well,
it's and
I
now
got I got
Brie.
their latest postponement was because of the fact that Blade was supposed to be in the fall and now
Come on,
Blade has been pushed and
it's
stuff.
because it's bad. It's because it's bad,
I don't think that's it,
yeah, and
but
they're trying
I
to
mean
now. Brie Larson is like freaking out because it's not called Captain Marvel 2, and now
I don't
she
think
wants
she
nothing to do with it.
I've heard that that's actually false. That she
I
hasn't
have
actually.
read many
And then
reports
I've
of
read
her.
other ones countering it and saying that it's actually false, that she never actually physically said this. And so, because she's
Okay.
not on video saying it. Like there was no real point, there it was not. So whatever. I don't care. I'm gonna see it regardless because I love Marvel. But I,
I don't know why.
I enjoy them.
Just
All
like
right.
somebody saying that they love DC, I don't know why. I really don't. So it's not Marvel. It's just, in my opinion, garbage product. That's
We didn't stay on target, but that's okay. you know.
That's okay. That's okay because we started off with the lights out guy, which I will say this: I am glad that he got Shazam 2, just like
Yeah.
James Wan got
Well, he was in
Aquaman.
he did Shazam 1 as well, I believe. So, I
Oh,
mean,
okay, okay.
oh,
So
he's
good for
yeah.
him.
Yeah, just like James
So
Wan
his
got Aquaman too, you know.
which is supposed to be horrible,
Yeah.
which is supposed to be really bad. So I don't know. They should just stop. Stop. Talk about rebooting. Don't reboot Scream again. Just stop these movies and
Do something original. Yeah. Good luck on that
yeah,
one.
yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys for checking this out. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And until then, talk to you later. Bye.